Good morning, and welcome to day three of the Protect Your Peace Holiday Challenge. I am Jamie Maybright, and I am so glad that you are joining me on this journey to find a little bit more peace, release a little bit of stress, and talk about, what it is we need to do on a daily basis to help us succeed and being less stressed and more centered and more grounded. I'm going to start off really quick reviewing days 1 and 2 in case anyone has missed it. I did send out the replays. So if you did not get a replay and you want one, let me know. I will get it emailed out to you. I'm also, I have a Teachable site set up that has the worksheets and it has the replays. So if you would like access to that, I can give you access to that also. So let's start off with the day one worksheet. The day one worksheet looks like this. And it says introducing the magic morning. So magic stands for meditate, affirmations, get moving, inspired writing, create your vision, and there's a bonus C, and that's clean. We're going to only go over that very briefly. That is what I threw in at the end because I have found that as a mom and as a busy woman, that if I can get something cleaned first thing in the morning, it just sets me off on a better trajectory. So I added that in just kind of as my own 2 cents. We did talk about meditation. Meditation is a practice that involves focusing or clearing your mind using a combination of mental and physical techniques. Depending on the type of meditation you choose, you can meditate to relieve stress, to feel grounded, to improve your mental health, and so much more. Some people even use meditation to help them improve their health by using it to adapt to the challenges of quitting things like tobacco or sugar. Meditating helps get the body out of a cortisol response. Cortisol is more addictive than nicotine, and we condition ourselves to default to an automatic cortisol response. Meditating also boosts serotonin, which is what we need to counterbalance all the cortisol that we get. And meditating can raise your serotonin levels upwards of 200%. So that's better than a pill. That's better than anything that I have ever heard of as far as boosting your serotonin. I don't know if you know, a lot of people don't know that the majority of the serotonin that your body produces is made in your digestive system. So if you have poor gut health, you're going to have very low serotonin levels. So that's another thing that you can look at to help boost your serotonin. Serotonin is that feel good, part of one, love each other type hormone. Like when you are with someone you love, your body's producing serotonin. When you are doing something you're passionate about, your body is producing serotonin. So we want as much serotonin as we can get. We are conditioned to think that success and happiness and peace are because of everything that we're doing, because we are totally bombarded with the idea that we must be constantly doing all the time. But what really brings on success is not doing. It is pulling back and getting yourself in the mode of receiving because the universe cannot provide to us what we want until we can receive it. So if we're too busy trying to output all the time, we can't input anything. So if you are looking for more input, start meditating. Give your mind some time to calm down and listen to itself. The last page is the 4 R's of meditating. Those 4 R's are going to be relaxed. You want to get in your body and get present. 2 is return to self. You want to connect to your higher self and to the divine so that you can next are receive. When you receive, you want to connect with your future. You want to open your heart. You want to connect with all of the possibilities that are floating around in this universe that are just waiting for you to receive them. And the last one is to release. Release what no longer serves you. Let shit go. Just at the end of every meditation, if you can just kind of focus on what you don't want to carry forward and what you do want to carry forward, it will really help with what you get out of your meditation. So that was day one. Now let me move on to day two. If I can find it. Sorry, I put it all in a binder thinking it would be easier that way, but it's actually proving not to be easier that way. All right, day two looks like this. Says day two, the magic morning, A and G. So A, we discussed, is for affirmations, and G is for get moving. So what we repeatedly tell or affirm to ourselves becomes our internal reality and impacts our ability to affect our external reality. Thus, affirmations are one of the most effective tools to articulate the person you need to be to achieve everything you want in life and then to become that person. So, when you think about it, what what does mental programming look like to you? Do you know what mental programming is? Mental programming is everything that we take in at any point. It could be what we read, the TV we watch, what our parents, thought we should or should not do. Um, it's all combined in and also with our experiences to give us what our mental spin on things is, how we look at things, how we perceive things. So if you grew up in a very strict household and you were repeatedly told, these are the rules you have to follow, and this is, you have to do this, otherwise you're going, to burn an eternity of damnation or whatever it is that this side of extremism I'm talking about is, you are going to have a completely different view of life than someone that, let's say, grew up on a commune with, peace, love, and music all the time. Those two people are going to have different mental programming because of what they were programmed as a child. So what we need to do now as adults is to realize that we have to have an active participation in our mental programming. We have to control, what are we letting in? What are we putting in our brain? What are we exposing ourselves to every single day? Because that is what we become. What we are thinking about becomes our reality. So if we are doing nothing but stressing out and worrying and watching the news and how horrible things are in the world and how everything is just all going to shit, then we are not going to be able to step back and be not only relaxed and less stressed, but we're not going to be able to really think what we actually think because our brains are too busy reacting to all of the information that we're bombarding it with. So when we take an active role in our mental programming, we have a much, much, much better chance of succeeding and being able to keep our brain where we want it to be. So the second page of day two on the front, it says morning/daily affirmations. It is important to always draft your affirmations in writing or digitally. This way you can carefully craft them using precise language so that they are authentic and tailored to you. You cannot, not that you cannot, but my affirmations may not be the same as your affirmations, and your affirmations may not be the same as her affirmations, because we're all different people. Like we just talked about the mental programming. We are all coming from a different place in our brain. And so it is so much more effective to write your own affirmations. And I know that may seem intimidating, but we go over the steps on how to write an affirmation. And if you need more support with that, please email me. We can get together and talk about this one-on-one. I have no problem with that. The language that you choose should resonate with you. If it doesn't resonate with you, then you're not going to listen to it, if that makes sense. Another thing that's really important to remember with affirmations is you cannot just tell yourself lies. You need to be truthful with your statements. If you just tell yourself every day, I am a millionaire, I am, whatever, fill in the blank of something that you just want, but are not necessarily working towards. You're never going to believe that you're a millionaire if you wake up every day with $2 in your bank account. It doesn't matter how many times you tell yourself you're a millionaire, you're not going to believe it. So if we make affirmations that we actually believe, we're going to actually be able to move towards that behavior or action or solution or whatever it is. In order to experience concrete results, our affirmations must lead to changes in our behavior. If we don't change our behavior, we're going to get the same thing we've always gotten. And that's one thing that affirmations can help us do, is can help us define what that action needs to be so that we can change what we're doing so that we do get a different outcome. And I've got one more, but I don't remember exactly what the blank was filled in. So let me find it. You know what? It's not even in this book. It's in this book over here. I apologize. I like to take notes and I take them all over the place and I try to combine them all in one spot, but I'm not always successful at that. So let me get out this book because this book has more information in it. Here we go. And the last fill in the blank on that page says affirmations need to be practical, actionable, and they need to produce measurable results. So what that's saying is practical. It means it needs to be something that you believe that you can achieve, that you practically know that you can take steps to execute it. Actionable means that there are steps that you can take to get to said goal. And produce measurable results means that there's something that happens at the end that you know whether or not you have achieved that or not. So let's say you want to lose 10 pounds. That is a very measurable amount because weight is something that we can measure. Now, does it have to be that? No, it could be we're focusing on having more peace. So you can decide within your own heart, are you feeling more peaceful? Are you feeling more relaxed? Are you enjoying, your daily time with your family better? So some things are not necessarily a quantifiable measurement, but we know in our hearts that something has changed better. So the next is the 3 steps to draft an affirmation. The first one is to affirm what you are committed to. And notice it doesn't say that you're affirming what you want, because this is not about what you want. It's about what you're willing to work for. When we commit to something and we put it in an affirmation, we can know wholeheartedly that if we are truly committed to it, there is a way. When you're committed, there's always a way. The universe rewards those of us that are working towards whatever it is we're working towards with movement towards that goal. But we have to move also. This is not a magic wand that you can wave and be like, voila, I'm a millionaire now. Voila, I'm skinny now. That's not how it works. It just doesn't work that way. So, definitely the first thing is you need to affirm what you are committed to doing. And the way that you can write this out is like a fill in the blank. I am committed to blank no matter what. I am committed to, and the one I did yesterday it's right here. I am committed to feeling peaceful no matter what. There is no other option. So that's the first part of our affirmation. So if you can fill in, I am committed to blank, and you can put no matter what at the end, or you don't have to, either way, but I am committed to blank. It's the first part of our affirmation. The next part of our affirmation is we need to affirm why it is important to us. When we define what it is, what our why is, you will be able to continually fuel your commitment to take your actions to achieve your commitments. And then your affirmation becomes your reality. The why is so important because the more compelling reasons you have to follow through with your commitment, the more likely you are to actually follow through with it. So, what I like to do is to start by listing the reasons why it's important to me. And I try to come up with 3 to 5 reasons. What are the most inspiring and compelling reasons that will keep you inspired to do whatever it takes to reach your goal in your affirmation? It's going to give you fuel to follow through. It's going to give you confidence. It's going to help you just stay on track. Also, remember when you're writing your affirmations that they are always in a rough draft form. You can always edit your affirmation, so you don't have to make it perfect. A poorly written affirmation is better than a non existent affirmation. And the thing about affirmations is, as we grow and change, they're going to change regardless. We're going to reach what we're aiming for, and then we're going to have to come up with something new. And not only that, sometimes we just change, our life changes. Maybe what we were affirming isn't what we want anymore. And so you always have the freedom to tweak your affirmations any way you want to. The third step to writing an affirmation, oh, I forgot to fill in the blank. I am committed to blank. I said, feeling peaceful no matter what. And then the 3 reasons that I have are so that I can feel grounded in my body, so that I am a better person to my family, and so I am able to spread more joy to other people. So those are my 3 reasons for wanting to feel peaceful. The third step to writing your affirmation is to affirm what actions you're going to take and when you are going to take them. Writing an affirmation that merely states the outcome you're committed to and why it's important without clarifying the necessary actions to take to produce the outcome is just one notch above pointless. It can also be very counterproductive because if you don't define what you're going to do to get there, you're just once again repeating these ethereal phrases that don't have any forward motion to them. They're just kind of like a, I'm here, give me what I want, universe. And yes, we do want the universe to rain down its abundance upon us, but we also have to know that there are steps we have to take in order for the universe to recognize that it's time to spread abundance all over us. So a lot of times we already know what we need to do. So, like, for example, if I was trying to lose 10 pounds, I know I need to eat better. I know I need to exercise more. I know I need to be more mindful about how much sugar I'm eating or taking in. But sometimes we don't know what the step is. So let's say you wanted to start a new business and your affirmation is, I am committed to starting a new business no matter what. The reasons why, where did it go? The reasons why I want to start a new business is because I want to be, financially independent. I want to be able to work for myself and I want to have flexibility in my schedule. Okay, so that's great. But what do I do next? What is the next actionable step? So if you don't know your next actionable step, what you need to do is instead of committing to an actionable step, you need to commit to time to research that actionable step. So you can get information from books, you can get information from articles, YouTube, Google, networking with other people. There's all kinds of ways that you can commit time to finding out what your next step is. And so that's what you need to do until you know what that next step is. And then when you know what that next step is, then you can fill that in and define when you're going to do that. Another thing to remember when you're defining your actions is that some actions may be recurring. Like every single day you need to work out. Every single day you need to not eat sugar. Every single day you need to, make sure that you're taking care of your body. Those are things you're going to do the same stuff. Now you can mix it up, obviously, but in essentially you're doing the same thing every day. You're reaching these same goals. But then other ones may have a sequential type sequence. So like the starting the business, first you need to get your EIN number. Then you need to open a bank account with it. Then you need to write your articles of incorporation. If you want to be, there's certain steps. So you're not going to get an EIN number over and over and over again. You're just going to do that once. So don't be discouraged and just realize that some are going to be recurring and some are going to be sequential. It says the more specific your actions are, the better. So be sure to include frequency and timeframes to help clarify when you will begin and end your actions. The key to achieving any goal is improving any aspect of your life is harnessing your ability to make a commitment and maintain that commitment for as long as it takes, even when you don't feel like it. I think that's really important because a lot of times we don't feel like it. We're like, yeah, whatever. I'm going to eat this, Slurpee, and whatever it is that goes against what you're working towards happens. And that's okay. Give yourself some grace. Keep moving forward because we all have hiccups. We are not perfect. We are not going to be perfect every day. We are not going to, we're just not going to feel like doing it every single day. And that's okay. But we have to commit to doing things even when we don't feel like it. So my final affirmation that I came up with yesterday is I am committed to feeling peaceful because I want to feel grounded in my body, because it makes me a better person to my family, and it lets me spread more joy to others. And I will wake up every day in December and meditate for at least 5 minutes in order to reach this goal. Seems kind of long, but you can break it up into little parts or you can leave out the middle part. But I do suggest writing down the full affirmation in one place, and taking that piece of paper and sticking it somewhere you will see. So I have lots of different things around my desk, and most of them are on Post-it notes. I'm a Post-it note junkie. I got Post-its everywhere, like literally everywhere. Post-it. Put one on your mirror, put one on your dresser, put one on your desk, put one where you work, put one in your car. Wherever it is that you need a reminder, think about like, okay, say you're trying to lose weight. Maybe put one on your fridge because that's where you're going to get something to eat. And so you see that affirmation, you're like, yeah, I'm going to make the right decision because I remember that this is what I'm working for and this is what I want and this is important to me. So that is all about writing affirmations. So that's day 1 and day 2. Like I said, if you have any questions about day 1 or day 2, you're more than welcome to email me and we can either Zoom and talk or we can just email back and forth. It's totally up to you. But today we are going to do the G and C. So the first one is going to be G, which is get moving. No, this is not today's. This is yesterday's. We did get moving yesterday also. I forgot. So we all know how important exercising is to maintain our health, increasing our strength, and improving our endurance. But we may not know or be aware of the benefits that are specific to exercising in the morning. These are the reasons why you should spend a little bit of time first thing in the morning getting some movement in. Now, this does not have to be a 5-mile run. This does not have to be an hour's worth of Zumba. This can be 5 minutes of stretching. This can be 5 minutes of doing sit-ups and push-ups and jumping jacks. This can be walking around your block with your dog. Just get moving first thing in the morning. These are the benefits of doing so. It helps you transcend that mental fog that you wake up with every day. It improves alertness. It enhances mental clarity and focus. It helps you sustain higher levels of energy throughout the day. So while you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm too tired to work out, If you push through that and go work out, you're going to have more energy throughout the rest of the day just because you got up and did it in the morning. Not to mention, if you wait to go work out after work, you're going to have 50 billion reasons why you think you shouldn't have to do it or you can't do it. You're too tired. It's too late. You need to go to the store. Your kid got sick at school or whatever. But if you just wake up and do it first thing in the morning, there's very few obstacles first thing in the morning. Now, I'm not saying there aren't obstacles. Sometimes you wake up and your kid's puking on the floor, and that happens. But for the most part, I have found success in waking up about an hour before my family does. And then I have plenty of time to do all of these things in the magic morning, including getting moving. What I do most of the time personally is I integrate my yoga into get moving, into my affirmations, into my meditation, and the one that we're going to go over for day 3, which is create your vision. You can also visualize while you're yogaing. So you just took 4 of the 5 letters and combined them all into one activity. And to me, that's the kind of multitasking I need in my life. So don't think that you have to devote 20 whole minutes to one thing and then 20 whole minutes to the next thing. And then, that's just you. You do you, man. If you think that your meditation and your visualization go together, then do them together. This is your morning, and you get to tweak it as to what works for you. Um, when you do get moving, first thing in the morning, it circulates your blood and oxygen throughout your body, and it significantly boosts your energy, your cognitive function, and then that enables you to think more effectively and concentrate longer. Now, to me, if that is a benefit and all I have to do is do it in the morning instead of in the afternoon or evening, I will take that benefit because no offense, I'm a mama 5, and I swear that with each one of them, a little tiny piece of my brain left the freaking building. I am in a mental fog a lot of the time. I am hard to focus. I have a hard concentration. All of those things that it improves, I am for. And so just try it. Try getting some movement in first thing in the morning and see how well it does you. Like I said, I prefer yoga. I believe that yoga is a holistic exercise, meaning that it benefits your body, your mind, and your spirit. And once again, multitasking is something I like to do. So if I can do something that's helping my body, mind, and spirit all at the same time, that's better than just helping one of them. One of the things, or not one of the things, some of the things that yoga gives to us is you're stretching during yoga. Yoga involves strength training. It involves balance. It often involves cardio work depending on what type of yoga you're doing. And all of it includes breath work. You cannot do yoga without breathing. You will pass out. So all of those things combined into one activity, to me, is the best activity that you can do. So if you're new to yoga, I highly, highly suggest trying some beginner videos. Maybe you find some on YouTube. You can barely see them, but right there, that deck of cards is actually a yoga deck of cards. You can get them for like $5 on eBay, or thriftbooks.com is one of my favorites. But it's just a deck. It has different yoga poses. I'll go through and pick out some, put them in a stack, bring out my mat, which you don't even have to have a mat. You can just do it on the floor in bare feet. I like to have a mat, but it's not necessary. You can do yoga with no equipment whatsoever. And just be gentle with yourself. Know that you're not going to be able to be the most flexible, bendy person right off the bat, but it will come with time. And it's something that you can literally see yourself progressing at as you do it. And I'm a firm believer in doing things that show you how much better you're doing. You will notice, oh my gosh, I can bend further this way, or I can balance longer on this, or whatever it is. It shows your progression as you go. So that was day 1 and day 2. Quick review. Now let's start day 3. Welcome to day 3 of the Magic Morning and of the Holiday Healing Challenge. I hope that the things that we have talked about thus far have helped you feel at least capable of accessing some more peace and not just being so stressed out. And I hope that these last couple of letters, I guess, the last couple of these activities really push it the rest of the way towards you finding some peace. So the I in magic is for inspired writing. Now, I know that writing can seem very overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be overwhelming. When we get our thoughts out of our head and written down on paper, we gain valuable insights that we might not otherwise see. And so, while it may be intimidating, don't let it be. Think about it, kind of pull your brain back and look at it instead of being like, oh my gosh, I can't write. I can't do this. I never know what to write. I don't know how to write. Stop that. Stop that talk and just quiet your brain, get something out to write with, and start writing. The writing element of your magic morning enables you to document your insights, ideas, breakthroughs, realizations, successes, and lessons learned, as well as any areas of opportunity, personal growth, or improvement. So it gives you a physical record of what you're doing every day, of how you're doing every day, of what you're learning, of what you've grown, and what your setbacks, what your epiphanies. That's the place for it, is your journal. And as I shake this in the air, I will bring up a point that I know we all like to spend money on beautiful hard-covered journals. And you know what they do? They sit on the shelf. And this is my planner, so it is not sitting on the shelf. It is definitely getting used. But don't go spend $35 on a journal, because then you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I don't, it's going to be more pressure to you because you're going to want everything to be perfect. And journaling is flipping messy. It is not a pretty situation. I don't know anyone that, like, first of all, wants anyone else to look at their journal because it's usually written in handwriting that no one else but you can understand. But my biggest suggestion in journaling is to go to Walmart or your other local cheapo store and get you some of these. I like the plastic ones because I'm hard on the cover, but these were 50 cents. I think on a normal day, they're a dollar. And if you hit a good clearance after, school starts, you can usually get them for about a dime a piece. When they're a dime a piece, I'll buy 20 of them. I freaking love journals. And I write in them all the time. Now, let me show you how not pretty it can be, because I'm really good at not pretty. So, started out, oh, so pretty. The further you go, the messier it gets. Messier, messier. And you can tell, like, at the beginning of the day, it's neater. And then as I go on, it gets messier and messier. It's all over the place. I do try to give myself headings so I know what is written on that page. But like, I have been brainstorming for this holiday healing challenge in here. And then I have been transferring what I have been brainstorming into more organized outlines on paper. And so that's why a minute ago I had to go pull this out, because half my information was in here and half my information was on paper. And that's okay. Like I said, there's no wrong way to journal. Another thing that I love to have journals for is to reread my journals, to go back through and just see what I wrote down before. What was so important that came out of my head that I put it down on paper. That's called a journal review. When you do a journal review, you can see so many insights. It will show what growth you've had in different areas. It will help you gain appreciation for the hard times that you've been through, the good times that you've been through, anything that you've gone through. Like, I'd like to look at mine at the end of the year for the whole year. And I do that before I kind of do my planning for the next year. And In case you're wondering, I don't start my year over in January. I start my year over whenever the astrological calendar starts over. So that's usually towards the end of March when the new moon in Aries happens. So my calendar kind of runs from spring all the way through winter instead of from January to December. To me, it makes more sense. That's the way that our world evolves. That's the way that nature gives us our seasons. And to me, to be in the middle of the dark season when you're supposed to be reflecting and contemplating and planning for the next step is not the time for me to start a whole bunch of new shit. And that's what people do in January. People are like, okay, I'm going to be this great person. I'm not going to drink and I'm going to work out and I'm going to do this and that. And I just don't think that December and January is the most optimal time for that. I think that the spring is the most optimal time for that. So this time of year, I am all about reflection, inner work, shadow work, just not trying to make a whole bunch of changes. And I think that's a lot of the reason why people, you'll go to the gym the first week of January, it's full. You go the first week of February, it's empty. Most people don't even make it a full month going to the gym. So I just, like I said, I don't think it's the most optimal time to make a whole lot of changes. So I read my journal, you know, February, March, so that I can start reflecting and feeling what I want to go forward April, May, June, July, August, continue. So you can do your journal however you want. It doesn't have to be cyclical. It doesn't have to be, you can start it tomorrow. You can start it in August, but I would suggest that you start it tomorrow because the more you write down, the more not only will the nonsense that you've got in your head clear out a little bit, but what isn't nonsense, what's the good stuff that you write down, you're going to have it written down so that you can come back and be like, yeah, that was a really good idea whenever you go back and read it later. Or, yeah, I really did get through that. I survived that and I didn't think I could. And so you can always go back through your journal and reread, rewrite, take notes, whatever it is that helps you realize that journaling benefits you in more ways than you will probably be able to count. And I am so passionate about journaling. I am actually going to be doing a journaling class in January because one day right now sharing it with another topic is not enough time for me to go over all the different kinds of journaling, all the different ways we can journal, all, you know, like I said, I'm going to do a series. I haven't decided if it's going to be like a Saturday thing or if it's going to be a couple of days thing. In fact, I will ask y'all for your feedback on what you think is better. Excuse me, my mouth is so dry. But that is what we're talking about for inspired writing. I'm going to leave it at that. If you want to follow up with more journal stuff, get with me and we will talk about the January journaling situation. So, last letter is C. And if you notice, it has a little squared by it. So, there are technically two C's, the real C and then a bonus C. So, let's start with the first C. The first C is create your vision. This is a pretty cool quote. It says, ordinary people believe in possible. Extraordinary people visualize not what is possible or probable, but rather what is impossible. And by visualizing the impossible, they begin to see it as possible. I love that. Visualization is so beneficial to us achieving our goals because when we visualize us taking the steps to reach our goals, it's like it gives us a dress rehearsal for what we're going to do in our lives. And so it's really important every day to take a minute to visualize what you're going to do today. Like today, I knew I had to get up, had to go take my daughter to therapy. I had to take her to school, and then I was going to come home and do this. And then after I'm done with this, I have to go back up to the school because my son was having a rough morning. And I asked him if he wanted me to come up there, if that would help him. And he said it would. So this morning, when I was laying in bed before I even got out, I was already running through my mind, you know, how is it going to go? What are we going to do? What are the kids going to wear? What are they going to eat for breakfast? But, I start going through my day and visualizing it so that when it's time to do the things, it's like my brain's already like, hey, let's do this because I already worked this out. And what's great is because you already kind of have a contingency plan. If things don't go exactly like you envisioned them, you can be flexible and change it. But you at least had a strategy going into it that kind of has your spin on it. It's really important to see things as you would rather, wait, blah, 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 excuse me, to see things as you would have them rather than as they are. So say, I'm trying to think of an example of something you can change pretty easily with just visualizing. But okay, last summer, my office was a storage bin. It really was. But I knew that I needed to just get it all cleaned out so that I could have my office. So I would visualize what my office was going to look like at the end. I was visualizing myself, sitting in the office with clients. I visualized myself working on my computer with clients. I used to have my computer outside. Now I have it inside. But this is the inside of my home. That, in fact, is my son's room right there that I keep the door closed so you don't have to see his mess. And my daughter, that actually ended up throwing up at therapy and stayed home from school today, is over here playing video games currently. So this is my home because my office is detached. It is outside. And I decided that because I do spend a lot of times in the evening on my computer, I moved it inside so that even if I'm plugged into my computer, at least my family is right here with me. I'm not like in a whole nother planet outside in a different building. So I would see myself how I wanted my office instead of seeing how my office was. Instead of being overwhelmed with all the crap that was in there, I transcended my vision past that and saw what it was going to look like when I was done. So that is a really simple visualization. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. This is not something you need to make complicated. Keep it simple for real. A mental rehearsal is the process of imagining exactly what you want to achieve or experience, then mentally rehearsing precisely what you need to do while generating an optimal state of emotional state that will compel you to do whatever it is that you need to do. So let's talk just a little bit about the optimal state, because this also goes back to meditating. When we meditate and we visualize in the emotional state that we want to feel, we are training our brain to go there instead of to the stress out cortisol response. So if we visualize, say we visualize we're losing weight, we visualize standing on the scale, reaching our goal weight, being so proud, being happy and elated, and that pride, that happiness, that elation, that's what you need to be thinking in your head when you're doing your visualization. Because when you visualize you experiencing that optimal mental state, then that's what your body's going to go to. When you sit there, and we may not think it is visualizing, but think about when you have anxiety and you're stressing out about something. Say you're stressing out about getting a new place to live. I would, instead of worrying about it, sit there and visualize, oh my gosh, I'm going to put my couch here and I'm going to put my bed here. And oh, I want this color curtain. And isn't it going to be nice? We can all sit in here around the Christmas tree and watch movies and drink hot chocolate. Instead of, oh my gosh, there's no way we're going to get this place. It's too expensive. They're going to give it to somebody else. If you start visualizing and thinking and meditating on that, then that is what is going to happen. What we think What we visualize, what we do internally becomes our external reality. And we have to get out of that negative self-talk and get to a more positive self-talk that has more hope and more possibilities. And just, we got to stop the negative self-talk for real. It's so bad for us. Um, Another thing that visualizing does is it helps to generate clarity and motivation. So when you visualize you executing the steps to achieve your goal, it's more clear. You have more clarity. You know where you want to come from, what angle you want to come at it with, because you define that clarity. It also gives you motivation because you visualize yourself accomplishing whatever it is that you want. And when you feel in your heart, oh my gosh, I just did that, you have the motivation to do it so that you can say, I just did that. So it provides clarity and motivation. When we create clarity, we make the seemingly impossible feel more and more real every time we visualize it. So, just like we were talking about going through the steps and how some steps you may have to repeat and other steps may be sequential, this is something that you may need to repeat. You may need to repeat the same visualization over and over and over. You may need to see yourself running across that finish line every single day for a year before you go run a race and cross the finish line. It depends on, like I said, what your affirmation is and what you're going towards. But it definitely, the more you visualize it, the more it becomes a reality in your head. And when it's a reality in your head, it becomes a reality in your body. And when it's a reality in your body, it becomes reality. To me, visualizing helps fuel my desire and generates motivation to make me want that vision to be reality. So I don't know if that's true for everyone, but I definitely think that visualizing for me does give me a lot more motivation. It gives me a plan. It gives me a plan of action or a call to action, and it makes me more confident in going into something that I might be very anxious about just because I've already decided how it's going to work out in my brain. And so let's just do this. And like I said, when you visualize in your peak emotional state, you can generate the feelings that you need to take the action that you're visualizing. So get in that peak emotional state. Make yourself feel proud. Make yourself feel happy. Make yourself feel engaged. Make yourself feel those feelings that you want to feel when you accomplish your goals. And then you will feel those feelings instead of feeling anxious and worried and scared and fearful or whatever. You're not going to practice feeling those. You're going to practice feeling happy and proud and productive, whatever, fill in the blank, whatever you want to feel, that's what you need to think about. You also should spend about 60 seconds visualizing your desired outcome. When you devote a minute to just sitting and really thinking out what you want to happen, you're going to have a pretty detailed vision. And the more detailed and specific our vision is, the better chance we have of accomplishing it. Is you cannot go back and change the past. We all know that you can change absolutely everything from this point forward. And that's amazing. That's so cool to think about, that we literally can change everything that we want to. Everything. We just have to commit to it. One thing I want everyone to remember, and this is hard, I know this is hard, but you are worthy, deserving, and capable of creating everything that you want in this life just as much as anybody else on this entire planet. Bill Gates is not more deserving, capable, or worthy than I am. He's not more worthy, capable, or deserving than you are. We all are part of nature. We are all part of this universe, and we are all deserving, capable, and worthy. of everything that we want. What holds us back from getting everything what we want is fear and the misbelief that we are not worthy or that we are not capable or that we are not deserving. When we let go of that fear, we open up our hearts for the universe to give us that. So don't ever forget that. You are just as worthy, deserving, and capable as every other person on this planet. So there are 3 steps for creating a clear vision. The first thing you need to do is prepare your mindset because our mindset sets the tone for every experience that we have. If you go into it with a crappy mindset, you are going to have a crappy experience. If you go into it with a good mindset, you are going to have a good experience. I taught mindset to middle schoolers and elementary schools, mostly 5th graders, but mindset matters. It matters how you think about something. So instead of saying, I can't do this, maybe say, I don't know how to do this right now, but I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to find out how to do this. Those are 2 completely different mindsets. One is closed and one is open. And we all need to be in an open mindset as much as we possibly can. When you visualize, I want you to see and feel what it will be like when you accomplish it so that you're able to get the clarity and motivation you need. You need to mentally rehearse yourself taking the necessary actions that you've determined you'll need to take to achieve your ideal outcome. And you will need to do all of the above while getting yourself into a peak mental and emotional state so that you will be far more compelled to follow through when it is time to follow through. So like I said, if you practice feeling excited about what's going to happen, you're going to be much more motivated to do whatever that action is. So instead of being like, man, I do not want to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and go to the gym because it's cold outside and I have to go start my car to warm it up so that I can even go to the gym. And then after I get out of the gym, I'm hot and sweaty and I walk outside and it's freezing cold and now I'm in cold sweat. And I've already talked myself out of going to the gym. Instead, if I visualize my alarm clock going off at 6 and you'd be excited about going to get, a workout in, and that even though it's cold, it's going to be worth it because I am going to be more clear during the day. I'm going to have more energy all day. You got to focus your mind on the positive as much as you possibly can. Now, I'm not saying there aren't things to worry about, and I'm not saying that there aren't anxieties that are not completely valid because there are. But we can combat a lot of that stress and anxiety with just changing our mindset and visualizing a better ending. The next step is to visualize your desired outcome. When we visualize ourselves experiencing what we want, we stir up emotions that lift our spirits and pull us towards our vision. Like I was talking about just a second ago. If you know that you're going to be proud when you reach your goal weight, imagine being proud every time you imagine that you're going to work out. The more vividly you see what you want and the more you allow yourself to experience now the feelings that you will feel when you achieve your goal, the more you make the possibility of achieving it feel real. And that's why when we visualize something over and over and over again, we are literally manifesting it into existence. We are thinking it into our lives. We are thinking it so hard, it is becoming a part of us. And that part of us is executing it in the real life flesh, in the 3D life. So what you need to think about when you're visualizing is what is a goal you want to achieve? Or what is an improvement or accomplishment you would love to see come into fruition? This could be a lifelong dream. This could be like a bucket list thing, or this could be a very short-term goal. It can also be simple and immediate, an action you want to take right now. I like to use visualization, for example, before I went into surgery. I do not like being put under, but I had reconstructive foot surgery and they won't let you do that while you're awake. Go figure. When I went into that surgery, I didn't visualize the surgery. I'm going to be real with you. I did not spend time visualizing it. But in the moment that we were in the waiting room, waiting for them to take me back to pre op, I was visualizing myself breathing deeply, feeling calm, having confidence that my doctor is completely capable of doing what the procedure was. And so for the 5 minutes that I was waiting, all I was doing was visualizing making it through the next 5 minutes. And that is okay. That is another way to use visualization to help maintain your mental wellness, is just taking a few minutes to deal with and acknowledge how you feel right now and how you actually want to feel. So, but like I said, it could also be a long-term goal, like we talked about losing weight or getting a different job or maybe running a marathon, or, it can be a long-term goal. It can be a short-term goal. It can be an immediate goal. It works for all of them. And that's one of the things that is so freaking cool about visualizing, is that you can literally use it anytime. The third step for coming up with your visualization is to visualize actually taking the action. When you visualize taking the necessary actions while in an optimal emotional state and then rehearse yourself taking those actions, you are going to take the actions. It's so much easier. You've already thought it through. You've already decided how it's going to go. You've already manifested what is going to happen. And so now you just get to follow through with it. And that is so much easier than walking into something without a plan, without a vision, without an outcome, without a feeling. So when you visualize taking action, once again, feel proud for reaching that goal weight. Feel excited because you made it to the finish line. Feel wonder, whatever that feeling is that you want to feel it while you imagine yourself doing that action. When you simply close your eyes and imagine you going through the actions and steps you need to do that day, you need to make sure that you envision yourself enjoying the process. So see yourself smiling, see yourself being proud, see yourself succeeding. Because when you feed your brain that over and over and over again, it's going to come over that pathway that you've already have of, I can't do this. This is why I can't do this. This is too hard. I'm not good enough. All of that stuff gets bypassed because you have a new neural pathway that's saying, I can do this. I am going to do this. I got this in the back. So I hope that y'all have a little bit more of an understanding of what creating your vision is like. The last one, like I said, is clean. I don't like doing dishes at night. I really don't. I very often get up and do the dinner dishes first thing in the morning. Now, sometimes I'll do them at night, but I won't ever put them away. I have to hand wash everything. We live in a house from 1902 and I do not have a dishwasher. And so dishes are literally like the bane of my existence. I will take laundry any day over dishes these days because laundry used to be the bane of my existence. And now I had to switch to dishes because I hate hand washing dishes. So in the morning, I will put the dishes away or I will sweep a floor and usually I try to do something that's just simple, quick, easy that I can do while my kids are getting up and getting ready. They are both old enough now that I don't have to dress anyone or tie anyone's shoes or, they are very capable in the morning. In fact, my youngest is 7 and he is already like, Mom, I can make my own breakfast, which breaks my mama heart because he's my baby. But That's great. He's capable of doing this stuff, and that's why I have time to do more things in the morning for myself. And that is when I added the cleaning thing to it. Before I just had it on my planner as something that I need to do throughout the day because that's how much I hate doing dishes is that I will let them pile up until we don't have any dishes and then do all of them at once. And when I added clean to my daily checklist, I would make sure that I did something in the house that was cleaning every single day. Now, that might be picking up everybody's shoes out of the living room. That might be, it could be anything. And it doesn't have to be a huge task. But if you do something cleaning in the morning, it will put you on a trajectory of success because one, you have a sense of accomplishment. You already finished something that you know you have to do today. And so later, when you don't feel like doing it, you're like, cool, past me took care of future me, and that's already done. And I love it when past me takes care of future me. One of my favorite things in the world. So think about what different chores you are responsible for in your house. And in the morning, think of something you can knock out really quick. So that way, when you get home from work, you do not have to make your bed, or you do, I mean, not everyone makes their bed, but a lot of people do. Or you don't have to put the dishes away from the day before. Whatever it is, you don't have to deal with it because you already did it. And that in itself is stress relieving because you already got it done. You don't have to worry about it. And you don't have to procrastinate it because you already did it. And it's really easy to procrastinate the things we don't want to do because obviously we don't want to do them. But like I said, when we just do something very small in the morning, it's like, cool, I got this. And then you have that same kind of feeling that carries through your whole day. So I hope that everybody really gets something out of all of these magic morning letters. I will go over them one more time before we leave. I also would like to do kind of like a chant meditation. I love chanting. Chanting is something that I think is way underrated. And one of my favorite chants is by Rebecca Campbell. And it kind of was a companion meditation that went with her Rise Sister Rise book. It is called Rise Sister Rise. And I find this to be very empowering. And I really enjoy empowering chants. So I'm going to share that with y'all after we go over the letters one more time, just as a quick refresher. So, magic morning. M, meditation. A, affirmations. G, get moving. I, inspired writing. And C, create your vision. If you can spend 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes doing those 5 things, you will change your life. You will change the way you do things. You will change the way you see things. You will change the way you feel about yourself. So try it. Try it, please. And if you need any tips on making any of these things shorter, because journaling doesn't seem like it'll take a minute. It seems like it'll take more than a minute. Meditation seems like it'll take more than a minute. Visualization seems, but you can cram all of the things into a minute apiece. And when you do that, you don't have to sacrifice a lot of time. Now, I personally prefer to have an hour to do my magic morning before the rest of my family gets up. I usually will get up, I will go outside to my office and I will do my stuff out there because it's quiet and no one bothers me. And ironically, the door on my office doesn't like to open, like the doorknob needs to be replaced. So it's really hard to get in there. So even when my kids want to come bother me, they often can't open the door to even get in. So it's like my perfect peaceful place away from everyone. And if you don't have a perfect peaceful place, at least find a semi-perfect peaceful place that you can do this. It can be in your living room on the couch. It can be in your game room on the floor. It can be in your bathroom with the door locked if it needs to be. But find somewhere and find some time to be able to execute these things every morning and do it for 2 weeks and see how much better you feel, because it doesn't take long to start seeing some amazing, amazing results and effects from this. So, thank you so much for joining. It's been a great couple of days. I really enjoyed this. Like I said, I am going to be doing a journaling workshop in January. If you were interested in that, look out. I will be advertising it soon, and I hope that you can join me. And I would love to teach y'all more about journaling. So, thank you so much. Have a great day. As I close out, we are going to do the chant. And then after the chant, we're just going to go. I'm going to let y'all go in peace from that. So I hope that you enjoyed. That's not the button I need to push. I hope you enjoyed it. And like I said, if you have any questions or you need to know anything else, just let me know. And I appreciate it.
Rise for you, rise for me. When you rise first, you rise for me. Rise, sister, rise, sister, rise. Rise, sister, rise. Rise for you, rise for me. When you rise first, you rise for me. Rise, sister, rise. Rise, sister, rise.
Thank you so much for joining and coming. I hope you rise to meet all of your goals. I hope you rise to see your inner self and how wonderful and capable and worthy and deserving that you are. I hope you go in peace. Much love. Till next time.